Welcome to this edition, which is edition 19 of Saturday Live with History Creators Facebook group. Now I'm still trialing out the Facebook Live new interface. It's taking a little bit of getting used to, but yeah, it's getting there. I'll get better at it. I've just been trialing the scheduling of process. It didn't seem to work that well. But anyway, maybe I just screwed it up. But anyway, let's get stuck into it. So today's topic is all about the format that you should publish your book in. Okay. In this episode, I'll be exploring the pros and cons of self-publishing your book across the three main formats. That's printed books, ebooks, and audiobooks. Hi, I'm Ian Bosler. I started Intertype Publish and Print back in 2004. Since then, I've been on a mission to disrupt the traditional publishing industry and remove all the BS self-published authors must put up with. These quickie training modules will help you build the solid foundations needed to become a successful self-published author. Working out which format to self-publish a book in is a common issue faced by all the authors I work with. Printed books versus ebooks versus audiobooks has become a battle in many authors' minds, much like the PC versus Mac or the Holden versus Ford wars that have raged for years. Let's put this to bed for once and for all. For those who don't know me, I'll let you in on my secret for making a living from publishing your work. I simply take a very pragmatic approach that centers around what will make an author the most money. I believe that self-published authors need to make a profit from their writing. This enables you to be rewarded for your efforts, as well as providing funds to develop and market your work. Using the profit approach quickly and easily resolves which format you should publish a book in. So what formats are there? Look, when it comes to getting a message across, there's a whole world of different types of formats you can use. It could be a book, it could be video, it could be stage plays, it could be podcasts, all of those things. For the purpose of this discussion, I'll be focusing on the three book formats. And these are firstly the printed book. Now, you can look at hardcover or softcover, but that's a topic for future discussion. I'm not going to get into that today. But a printed book, it's been around for a very long time. In fact, it can be traced back some 2,000 years. However, it's only been in the last 570 years that it's been produced in a way that it became affordable for the general public to actually access the books. The first book produced using this modern method was produced way back in 1450. That's 570 years ago. And it was called the Gutenberg Bible. Believe it or not, 49 copies from that original run still exist today, making them among the most valuable books in the world. The second format are ebooks. Wow, they're low cost, easy to carry. It's understandable why they quickly gained a foothold in the market. It also opened up a Pandora's box of issues around copyright theft. There are a wide variety of ways of making a book available electronically. However, most of these are easily pirated, which has spawned a burgeoning copyright pirating industry. It's very much a case of self-publisher beware. Then we have audiobooks, a relevantly recent addition to the stable of formats that an author has available to them. It originally started out as audiobooks for the blind. However, the advent of modern mobile phones has made books published in this format very accessible for the greater population. It's also the format I personally prefer to consume my business books in. Now, let's have a look at some of the facts. What I'm about to share with you is based on general consensus and averaging across a number of country-based publishing associations, and is most relevant to textual-based books. By linking children's books, picture books, recipe books, and educational type textbooks to one side, we can get a clearer picture of the formats favoured by the majority of books sold in the world. These stats also hold up for books sold in Australia. Now, the following analysis is based on volume, okay, rather than dollar value. They're based on volumes sold in 2019, and I've also given you a bit of a growth trend for the years 2018 to 2019. Okay. Firstly, we have the printed books. They represented 77% of the volume of books sold, and they have a growth rate of 4%. So it's growing at 4%. So books are very, from a what would be considered a mature market perspective, is actually still growing, which is very good. Ebooks, they represented 19% of the volume. Now here's a kicker. The volume declined by 3%. Audiobooks, they represented just 4% of the volume, but they had a growth rate of 25%. Ebooks, the decline has been steady trend over the past few years. Okay, people are swinging back to printed books as their preferred format. The audiobook growth rate is impressive. However, it's coming off a low base. And when you look at the self-published author profit, it has a way to go before it becomes attractive. I also think it's probably one of the main things that are cannibalizing the ebook marketplace, their volumes. But let's have a look at author profit, because at the end of the day, that's where we're going to focus in on. That's where you're going to make decisions based on, particularly if you're going to make rational decisions, you're going to make it based on profit. This is where it starts to get a little bit more interesting. So to keep it simple, I've looked at the potential profit for a self-published author who sells 1,000 books in total across all three formats. Now that's just assuming that these books are published in all three formats. Okay. And I've applied approximation of the typical selling prices and royalties an author would earn from an Amazon platform for a 200-page business book. Why I picked that is because it's something that's very, very common. And it's probably one of the most common book formats of book page counts that we see. Okay. Now, first off, the printed books. The author would have sold 770 printed books. Now, the typical royalty rate is about $9, and it results in a profit of $6,930. This is for 1,000 books, $6,930. Handy chunk of change. The ebooks would have sold 190 copies, and at a typical royalty rate of $3.50. Now, that's a lot smaller bit than printed because the price is a lot lower. Even though the royalty percentage is higher, it's off a lower price point. It results in a profit of $665, less than 10% of what is made from the printed book. You're still handy, as long as it's not going to be a huge effort to get the ebook out there as well. And thirdly, we have the audiobooks. Just 40 would have been sold. And a typical royalty rate of $4 each makes an unimpressive profit of $160. So on the surface, a rational self-published author wouldn't pursue the audio format. However, I still think it's worthy of consideration, especially if your book is a business book. Now, anecdotal evidence is showing that many buyers of audio business books will go on to buy the physical book if they find the value is in the content. It's also a growing format which one day may take over the ebook volumes. Okay. So some takeaways for deciding on book formats. Okay. Firstly, printed books reign supreme. They are by far the most popular and deliver the highest earnings. Okay. Ebooks, now they're a worthwhile addition provided they are properly secured, because you don't want to be feeding that pirate industry. And then audiobooks. Well, watch this space. Okay, I think there's some interesting things coming, and it's very worthwhile still having on a self-published author's radar, but you may not want to jump into it right away. First off, see how your book sales go, and then consider adding audio at a later date. Look, I know self-publishing can seem daunting, but it doesn't have to be. In coming episodes, I'll be exploring the simple, no BS and fast approach to becoming a successful author. But finally, I want to leave you with one piece of advice. Don't use your personal book format preference to make a decision on what format to self-publish your book in. If I was doing that, I'd only ever publish my books as audiobooks because that's what I prefer to consumer booking. But I'd be missing out on all of this market. Okay. You need to get over yourself, as the real winners in the writing game will format their books to suit the platform their readers prefer. So you need to understand who your readers are and where they hang out and the formats that they consume their books in. Then you're well on the way to making sure you're maximising or optimising the profits you make out of your writing. So that's it for this week. Hope you found that enlightening and some interesting things in there. Feel free to leave comments below. Appreciate that, and feel free to share this around. Anyway, that's it for now. See you next week. Bye for now.